To be called a New Mexican artist, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, we have so many names, Hispano, Chicano, Nuevo Mexicano. There's so many different subsets that are in New Mexico that you really are unique just being here. No matter if you moved here like yesterday or today, we all have this symbiotic relationship where we have this cultural pot that keeps on stirring and we take everything, pretty much everything. Like, you know when someone's from New Mexico. So when they say a New Mexican artist, I absolutely love it. I think this is the absolute best place on earth to be an artist and to live. It's my home. My name is Romero. I'm a figurative oil painter from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've been painting for 9 years. Yeah, about 9 years sounds good. The way I got started painting is I avoided painting my entire life. I was a drawer. And I walked into a gallery and I noticed this guy was giving some lessons. So I took 3 lessons, and after that, I let it go for about 5 years, and I just started in 2014. The reason I came back to painting is I needed something. There was something lacking. I was getting in a lot of trouble. And there was kind of a void that really I couldn't put my finger on it. And when I painted, it was reminiscent of me drawing as a kid, to kind of like build a relationship with my emotions that I was too afraid to state. So when I started to paint, it was more of a therapy than it was a practice. I was compelled to do it, but it was more selfish. It helped me build that relationship with the things that I could not control. The way I choose my subject matter is, it's really issues that I've been wanting to kind of communicate with the world. And I try to pick things that are pertinent to myself, my family, and my community. And I like to think about empowerment in terms of like identity and special cultural identity. And I want, being that I can't state it, I can't talk about it eloquently like I would, painting is the best option for me to actually have what influence I can on our community. My artistic process really changes with every painting. Sometimes I can get these visualizations that I have in my head and put it directly onto the canvas. No problems. Those are the paintings that worry me because it's too easy, and usually they're the ones that I have a problem with. The way that I really kind of approach my paintings is that you have that honeymoon phase, and that's where you're putting the first strokes on the canvas, and it feels good, it feels fantastic, and you don't really have to think about what is going to be finalized because it's so new. It's just a happy feeling, and then you get into blocking out. And that's a little bit, it's kind of like buying a house. You don't know what you're doing or if you can afford it, but it keeps on going. And then the part I have the most struggle with is when I'm getting to the point where detail needs to be put in. That's the last time that I can actually change a painting without wasting hundreds of hours on the detail. Just like right now, there's a painting that I don't know whether or not it's going to work. There's something that I'm looking at it that subconsciously I know what it is. It's in here, and I really need to get a perspective on what's the problem. And that's when self-loathing, depression comes in. So when those emotions come in, I know not to like take a break or like step away from it. I know that there's a problem that my brain is having that needs to process. So I just continue to go. And it does work itself out, and some paintings just don't work. And just like relationships, some paintings just don't work, and you have to try again on the next one. Just finish it up, say it's a mutual breakup, let's go, and send it, or send it in the closet. And the way that I paint, it's with layers, and it takes a long time. So I have a lot of times to think and reflect on what I'm painting, the message I want to put out into the world. And that kind of vulnerability, it's horrible. You really want to know if you're speaking clearly through your visual imaging. And that's really the hardest part of painting for me, is reconciling these feelings of worthlessness and at the same time being proud of something. In the end, even though, you know, it was easy or it was hard, you really have to kind of gauge that painting by painting. My exhibit is called Viejo, which just translates to new old man. And that's probably where I am in my life right now. And I'm just really taking a look back at the things that really I appreciate about New Mexico that probably people in Texas, Arizona, Colorado probably wouldn't get. Just little snapshots that have had an influence on my life and my artistic career. One of the pieces I have for the show for Secret is this guy over here. And it is a picture, black and white picture that I took of my daughter washing the car. And this people can relate with because I grew up, my dad loved cars. Like we had a relationship based upon our love and appreciation of cars that he nurtured, but you couldn't work on the cars. You had to hold the flashlight. And as a kid, you know, as an adult man, I still hold the damn flashlight. So I wanted to paint something that shows the relationship of the New Mexican kind of dynamic towards family and classic cars, because these things have turned into more than like a shared interest. They are they're become something that's been passed down that people absolutely love, and they get more. It's an addiction, really. And when I had my daughter, the first thing I wanted to do when she was able is to start working on cars, but have her actually work on the cars instead of holding the flashlight. So this picture over here, she's washing the car and she absolutely loves it. But right after that, the alternator was out, so I took it out and right away gave her a wrench and she started turning on it. And we spent probably like 2 hours out there. I mean, I changed it within 15 minutes, but she showed an interest in it, and that really was special to have that moment between us. When people look at my paintings, I want them to understand that I'm exactly like them. Like, we have a shared experience that I want to put on a canvas that we can point to and say, yeah, I like that. That's me on the canvas. I have some paintings that people have said that, and that's what really means the most to me is, you know, my last painting, Mestizaje. I've had men and women that said that they actually saw themselves. They saw themselves in that position of power and you know, struggle and identity to really exist as New Mexicans, not quite knowing what we are, what category we fit in. And it was really nice to see that my emotions were shared with the people who are viewing the painting.